The HPT is back in Florence, Indiana at the Belterra Casino Resort. We started with 383 entries, and we are down to our final 9 who are all fighting for the title, the money, and the HPT bracelet. It's all coming up next. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the HPT. I'm James Larson, alongside our color analyst. He's a professional poker player and an esteemed poker coach, Mr. Kenneth James. This week, the HPT is here in beautiful Florence, Indiana at the Belterra Casino Resort. We're smack dab in between Louisville and Cincinnati.
They've got a beautiful golf course here. I like to say that I played it bogey-free, James, but it was a tough course, let me tell you. All right, back to poker. Nothing tougher than what these guys have to face tonight. Playing for a prize pool of over $250,000, over $80,000 up top. Not bad for a 3-day payday.
Not bad at all. Down to our final 9 players. Leading the way right now is an amateur who works in the medical field. His name is Samir Al-Dabani, and he is leading the pack right now. We'll see if he can close it out.
Well, Samir, along with a couple of our other amateurs, the haves and the have-nots is really the story tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Samir looks like he has it all because the bottom 4 players, he's got more chips than all of them combined. But you know what? That's great about the HPT. You got an X-ray guy who comes in and battles the likes of Greg Raymer, Vanessa Russo, our perennial favorite, Craig Casino, and can come out on top.
You mentioned Greg Raymer, a friend of ours here on the HPT and a fantastic poker player. He did finish in the money, but he couldn't get past the final 9 here at this final table. With no further ado, let's get right to the action. Up top for our champion, $83,732. Not a bad payday at all. Leading the pack right now, Samir with over $3 million in chips.
Look at traveling poker pro there. Mike Comiso is at the table. He took down over $30,000 at our last event, so back to the final table. Let's see how dangerous Mike C gets on.
It's the first hand of the night. Great to be back here, Belterra Casino Resort. We'll start with Mike here. They call him K9. We'll get into that later. It's kind of an odd story. He's going to fold over to Mark now in the 8th seat. He gets out of the way. Now to our chip leader, Samir. He's going to fold. Jacob folds, as does the 2 seat. Now over to Mike. He's in the 3 seat. Looks on a Queen 8.
Mike Comiso, I've played with him a couple of times. A few of these players I've played with out there.
And Robert is all in here in the first hand of the night with his Ace-7.
Well, he's on the short stack looking to make something happen. And Kevin Stammen, I've played with him also. A great player. Got good balance to his play and finds the muck here.
When you showed me your cards, I really wanted to call. Ace-7. Ace-7. He showed me his hand. He had King-7.
And the short stacks are going to look to move up the money ladder. There's 10 grand difference between 9th place and 5th place. Real money.
Action continues here. Glad you joined us tonight here on the HPT. As we broadcast from the Belterra Casino Resort. Action is on the 8th seat of Mark. Looks down at Jack-9. Mark folds over to Samir.
That's our chip leader.
Jacob folds the 2 seat. Now over to the 3 seat of Mike. Looks down at 10 tray. Gary folds. Now back over to Robert. He's 25 years old. He's a real estate investor.
Robert opening up with King-9. Looks like he's coming into play.
He's got King-9, but we call Mike K9.
Yes, we do.
Something's fishy here. And now Mike is all in with his Ace-Queen, and Robert's going to quickly fold.
At your hand. Aces, King-9.
He told him, I've got your hand, the King-9. Now, just to give you a little backstory on that, Mike Seitz here, he's in the 7th seat. He's a poker player. He's also a wholesaler. He's got only $7,000 in lifetime earnings, but his true gift is he can bark like a dog. That's why they call him K9. He can bark. Yeah. Oh, he does a little better than that.
Well, I'm an amateur.
And maybe he'll have reason to bark later in the show. Let's fold it around now to Mike. Mike's 2nd final table in a row. We saw him last week at Golden Gates. Looks down at Ace-8.
Great performance to go back-to-back.
All in.
Action over to Robert, and he's all in with his King-10.
Wow.
Kevin gets out of the way.
Robert says, forget about leveling up. I'm going for the win.
Those cards nothing to bark at as Mike folds. Now over to Mark. Looks down at pocket jacks.
He's going to bark. I think. I'd have had my chips in already, as well as the guy next to me. What's he gonna do?
Call.
He's going to make the call, ladies and gentlemen. Robert Coons' tournament life is at risk. The last HPT Robert played, he bubbled. His plans for the cash, by the way, he's going to bet it all on black. This is what Robert told me before today's final table. The flop is 9-5 tray, couple of diamonds. So Mark's Jack's in the lead right now.
Mark a little underwhelmed at the turn of events here.
We go to the turn card. Robert looking for help, or he's going to be eliminated. That's going to help the tray of hearts.
Giving Robert the flush draw or a king. To the river we go.
And the river card is the 10 of spades, ladies and gentlemen. That will do it for Rob Coon, who will leave us in 9th place, and that earns him $8,155 and a round of handshakes. And Mark wins the pot and jumps into 2nd chip position. Can he keep building his stack? Come back to the HPT and find out. Welcome back to the Belterra Casino Resort right here in beautiful Florence, Indiana. 8 remaining players all vie for the $83,000 plus first place prize.
Belterra, isn't that where Rhett Butler Gone with the Wind? Didn't he hang out there?
I'm going to have to Google that. Might be. A lot of great things here in Florence, Indiana, and a lot of great poker.
That's where it was.
A lot of great poker. Kevin's going to raise to $115,000.
Back to the action, K9.
Over to the K9. Mike's going to fold. Now over to Kevin.
Well, Mark
rather.
Pocket eights, very deliberate. He's, in his play. I mean, even here, this to me is an easy raise, and he's making it difficult. Looking.
He's thinking about it. He's probably thinking how much he's going to raise.
Wow.
Or he's going to fold.
Are you kidding me?
Wow. Mark is going to fold his pocket eights. Action over to Samir.
I like either a 3-bet there or at least a flat from Mark. Too tight folding pocket eights in that spot.
Samir and Jacob both fold, so Kevin's going to win the hand. That's Mark Geith, the amateur from Indianapolis. We caught up with him earlier today.
Well, I'm going to play a little tight today, in between Kevin, Stammen, and Sammy. Sammy's got a pretty nice sized chip lead. And then you also got seat 1 with a nice sized chip lead, so I got to be careful what I do.
All right, the action continues here from the Belterra Casino Resort. Action is on Kevin. Looks down at 9-7 of clubs.
Looks like he's getting in raising chips. He does.
He's going to raise to $115,000 now. Over to K9 with his 7-5.
Perhaps Kevin sensing the tone of the table, the tightness, and decides to raise it up.
Mark now with Ace-King.
Maybe he's going to fold.
No, I don't think he's going to fold.
I don't know, man.
We've seen some peculiar play here, but he's going to re-raise this to $305,000 now with his Ace-King.
Stepping out.
Fold it around now to Gary. He's going to get out of the way. And Kevin's going to fold, so Mark's going to win this hand.
And Kevin lays it down. When a tight player raises, you get out of the way.
Great to be back here at the Belterra Casino Resort. It's our 4th trip here. Handing out money like we always do on the HPT, and we're at the largest casino hotel in the state of Indiana. What I like most about it is that par 71 course out there, designed by Tom Fazio. We got to play a little golf this week. Always a good time here in Florence, Indiana.
Golf and poker, they go together like ace-jack of spades here.
Mark's got ace-jack of spades. Wow, and Mark's going to fold that.
Wow.
Over to Samir now with Jack-7.
If he plays any tighter, he's going to start squeaking.
Now over to Jacob. Jacob's going to raise it up to $110,000 with his pocket 10s. Jacob into this event for just $260. What an ROI for him. Fold it around now to Kevin.
And that's a good point, James. For those people watching at home, you can come in, play a satellite, get in cheap, and come out with thousands of dollars. Tens of thousands, actually.
Mike now in the big blind looking to defend with his 7-5 of hearts. And he's going to do that. So heads up we go to the flop.
Looks like Jacob is falling asleep.
Yeah,
there.
it looks like we need to get that guy a pillow. The flop is 9-8 tray, couple of clubs. Decent flop there for Mike.
He's got a gut shot straight and a backdoor flush draw. Jacob with the overpair.
Mike checks. Jacob bets $125,000.
Mike, I'm sure, would have liked to have seen a turn card for a lot less. to try and make us straight, but he finds the muck.
Mike's going to go ahead and fold. Like we just talked about, Jacob into this event for just $260. That's one of the great things about the HPT, the whole qualifier process and how that works. And if you want to join us out here, why not give it a shot? Check out the webpage, www.hptpoker.com. And who knows, maybe you'll be playing for the life-changing cash. Up top, almost $84,000 to the champion tonight. Jacob waking up with another good hand here, this time pocket 8. So he goes from pocket 10s now to pocket 8s. Same raise up to $110,000. And look at this, folded around now to Mike, who's got pocket jacks.
He's got a decision here whether to flat or re-raise.
It's got to feel good to make 2 FTs in a row.
I'm on.
And Mike is going to 3-bet shove here with his pocket jacks.
I
Over
like
to Gary.
it. Yeah, I like it. You know, because if he calls, it's $100,000. It's almost a third of his stack. Might as well get it all in and force like 2 overcards like this, Ace Queen, to either call and then, you know, get your value there, or get your value from the underpair, which is a pair of 8s there, be an 80-20 favorite.
Well, Canine's barks louder than his bite, and he's going to fold now over to Mark. And Mark's going to get out of the way.
This.
See if Jacob can lay this down.
Reluctantly, he does.
He's going to do it, and Mike C's going to take down his first pot.
Wow.
We caught up with the 27-year-old poker pro and asked him about making his second HPT final table in a row.
Mike Combs, a professional poker player from Columbus, Ohio. Well, you got to run good, first of all, to make 2 FTs in a row. But, you know, I like to try and play smart, and, you know, hopefully I can run a little better today than I did last FT. To win a title would be awesome. You know, I've been a pro now for 3 years. To actually have a piece of hardware to, like, you know, show my accomplishments, oh, man, that'd be great. The money'd be good, but that'd be really cool.
We're back at the Belterra Casino Resort right here in Florence, Indiana. It's the HPT, and if you think you can sit with these players and excel, why not give it a shot?
Moderate buy-ins, you can satellite in. I'm telling you, these are great structures. Friendly dealers and staff, great atmosphere, man. Amateur players and experience to play with the pros, big tournament players.
It's always a good time. Check out the webpage, hptpoker.com. Action folded around to Gary. He's going to get out of the way. Now we're on Kevin. And Kevin is going to go all in with his king-queen.
He's trying to chip up.
K9 gets out of the way. Over to Mark now, looks down at king 4. There's no way he's going to play that. And Ken, I don't even care if he's in the small blind. He's going to fold that hand.
And Samir finding a fold. And Kevin's going to win the pot.
Kevin, the 30-year-old from Coldwater, Ohio, professional poker player. He's got an 8th and a 16th here on the HPT. Hoping to improve on that this week.
Absolutely. Kevin's a really good player. I've played with him a number of times. I really like his game.
Action over to Mike. Looks down at 8 Trey. He's going to get out of the way, as does Gary. I'm not sure Gary's going to play a hand tonight.
And here we go. Kevin right back at it.
He's going to raise it up to $115,000. Kevin, probably one of the players that has a little more experience than the others here at this final table.
And you can see it. He's comfortable in his actions and what he's doing, taking charge, even on the short stack.
Mark folds, and now look at Samir. Looks down at ace, queen of diamonds.
And this is the problem when you open up your play. You got the chance of running into a big stack like this with a big hand.
Samir is from Frankfort, Kentucky. He's 45 years old. He's going to re-raise to $255,000.
Jacob wakes up just long enough to fold his hand.
Action over to Kevin, the original raiser, and he's going to go ahead and fold, so Samir is going to win the hand. His plans for the cash, his son's college fund.
Nice. I like it.
It's a good plan for the cash.
Absolutely. Very noble. You know, it's very important to watch Kevin and these pros play. They're not afraid to open raise and then fold to a re-raise, and that allows them to play more hands, get it in there, and mix it up.
Gary, who's been real quiet so far tonight, will continue his silence as he folds the queen 7. Over to K9 now with his ace-jack. He's going to go into the tank here for a second, but I suspect maybe a raise here, Kenna James?
Absolutely. You know, I mean, Mike Seitz here also has a balanced game, doesn't play too tight, not too loose. Ace-jack is plenty of a holding to open up for a raise here.
He's going to raise it up to $135,000. Over to Mark now with 10-7. That's not going to be good enough. folds his hand, as does Samir.
Those gray chips, 5,000 apiece. The blue chips, 25K apiece.
And Mike's going to fold. So K9, Mike Seitz is going to go ahead and win the blinds and the antes.
Well, KJ, obviously a very tight final table tonight.
Yeah, there's still a couple of pros on the table, and Mike and Kevin. Let's see how they're going to play it. You know, the amateurs have folded, some better than average hands. Maybe they're playing it too close to the vest.
And even our chip leader, Samir, he's kind of playing that wait-and-see approach.
Well, you know, there is really two approaches to take to the final table. One is aggressive, lean on the other players, see who's going to step up and challenge you. And the other is to sit back and wait and let the short stacks take each other out. It looks like Samir is leaning towards the latter.
Let's get back to the table and see what develops.
8 players remain. Action is on Kevin. Looks down at ace tray of hearts.
Go after it, Kevin.
He's done it so far tonight, so I don't see that changing at all. He's going to go ahead and raise to 115,000. Action over to K9. We haven't seen him bark yet tonight. Looks down at 8-4. He's going to fold.
You know, it takes courage to do what Kevin's doing, too, on the short stack, to keep going after it. And look at this.
Mark with pocket kings. He's thinking I could either fold here, I could call, or I could raise.
Come on.
All right, I'm going to stop picking on Mark.
He could just flat, though, if he wanted to, and not give away the strength of his hand, but he elects to 3-bet.
So re-raise to 400,000.
Wow.
Fold it around to Frank now, who's got ace-queen. And Frank's going to fold, as does Mike. Gary gets out of the way, and now back to Kevin.
Great fold with the ace-queen there, facing a 3-bet.
Kevin with ace-tray.
Once again, Kevin gets caught with his hand in the cookie jar. Gets away from the hand.
Mark is 47 years old, was born in Cleveland, Ohio, now lives in Indianapolis, Indiana. He's a business owner. He's got over 70,000 in lifetime earnings, and adding to that this week here on the HPT.
You know, you got to balance your image, though, and Mark's got that tight image. I think it's important that, he flats there rather than 3-bet so he can maximize his value. Kind of trap his opponents. It's folded around to Samir here now.
Samir is going to fold, as does Jacob. Now we go to Frank. He's going to make the call. Over to Mike on the button. Looks down at 7-5 of clubs.
He's got a single gapper suited. Now, I would have called on the button there. Tight fold, I think.
Gary makes the call on the small blind.
Now, Kevin here, he could 3-bet, sense weakness from his opponents, and take it away. But, he's got his hand caught in the cookie jar a couple of times, so it looks like he's going to elect to check it and take the free flop. To the flop we go.
It's ace, king, jack, rainbow.
Kevin flopping bottom pair, Gary first to act. He moves all in with a gut shot straight.
Unbelievable. Kevin and Frank fold, and Gary takes down his first pot.
Now that's the way to leverage your image.
We caught up with the 64-year-old retired dentist to find out more about him and his strategy here today.
My name is Gary Bretslauer from Carmel, Indiana, and I'm a retired dentist. Well, I hope to be patient and wait for some opportunities. It may or may not happen. I think the cards dictate what you do and when you do it. But I played with Samir most of yesterday. And he's a good player, but he's also very lucky, and Jacob has also been running hot, so I hope they don't continue to do that today. I think I'm a huge underdog, but anything can happen in cards, so I'm optimistic.
Let's go ahead and take a look at the chip counts. Up top is Samir, and right behind him is Mark. Up top for our champion tonight, they'll go home with the bracelet, the bragging rights, and almost $84,000. So let's get back to the action. The final table is still taking shape as the amateurs are a twinge tentative and the pros are both very short stacked.
Talk about twinging. Someone's got to emerge and start challenging Samir and Frank here.
Action folded around now to Gary. He gets out of the way. Now Kevin on the button's going to fold over to K9 now. Mike Seitz looks down at pocket queens.
He's got Mark to his right, who's been playing very tight, so bet sizing is important here.
Well, Kenna, he's actually to his left, but the real question is, how much would you raise here?
Just double the big blind, or even flat. I mean, when somebody's as tight as Mark, you got to really set the trap.
The raise is to 175,000. Now action over to Mark.
Too much.
Mark looks down at King Jack.
Now, normally, anybody else would make a call here. Let's see if Mark finds a tight fold.
Mark is in the big blind, so I could see him defending this, though.
He should.
And Mark is going to fold. Wow.
He just doesn't find any reason to get involved, and that's that's one of the ways to play. You got two approaches, when you got chips. Either play it tight to the vest, let everybody else knock each other out, or take the lead and be aggressive and fight your way up and knock everybody out yourself.
Action continues here from the Belterra Casino Resort. James Larson and Kenna James broadcasting for the HPT.
Jacob finding his arm, going back to sleep. Also waiting for something to happen. Kevin.
Well, there's something. Kevin's going to go all in with his ace-deuce.
He's willing to make something happen here.
Now over to Mike. Looks at 6-4. He's going to fold. Now Mark looks down at Queen 10. Mark's in the small blind. He's going to fold. Now Samir's looking like he's asking for a count. He's got Jack 9.
Mark more content to look for a text message rather than a call.
I'll call.
And Samir's going to make the call with his Jack 9 here in the big blind. So Kevin is in the lead here with his ace. And he's at his tournament life is on the line here.
Yeah, it's only a 4% favorite here, 54-46 as we go to the flop.
And the flop is King 8-6. So far, so good for Kevin. Turn card now is the 5 of hearts.
It looks like Kevin just needs to dodge a river card, and he'll double up and stay in this tournament. To the river we go.
And the river card is the Jack of Hearts.
Wow.
And our chip leader, Samir, catches a card on the river to eliminate poker pro Kevin Stammen. Kevin will depart in 8th place, earning $9,648.
7 players remain. Our chip leader, Samir, is cruising right along.
Yeah, and the amateurs are going to have to really pick up their games. As the blinds increase and the pressure increases, they're going to have to pull off some bluffs, so they're going to be ground out of this tournament.
But as players get eliminated, that's more money for the other players left.
Yeah, but it's a risk-reward type of a thing. Most of the money is in the top 3 spots. Who's going to compete for it?
No risk, no reward, Kenna James.
Risk or rust, I say, baby.
Blinds are $25,000, $50,000 with a $5K ante. So happy you joined us tonight here on the HPT. Action is folded around to Gary. He's going to get out of the way. Now we move over to K9. I like this guy. He will hopefully see this bark at some point.
Yes.
We've been talking about it all night.
And here's a hand he could show some risk here. Double suited hand, double gap suited rather, and Mark on the button. You want to open up with any 2 basically on the button in a 7-handed table, but once again, he finds the muck.
And now Samir's got King Jack. He's going to raise it up to $110,000. Jacob, who looks like he wants to take a nap, woke up with Ace Queen. Woke up. I used that loosely.
We got to get him some pillows.
Yeah, he's going to re-raise now to $325,000.
I like it. I like this play.
Right into the chip leader of Samir.
You just don't want to give the small blind a free flop to outflop you. Wow, good fold by Samir. So both players here playing well.
Be careful. That's a stern warning, mister.
He says, be careful.
I'm just saying, I gave you 2 walks yesterday.
That wasn't a walk, though. I had to win that one.
I'm just saying, I wasn't making a move.
Right. No, you had a nice hand. Mine was better.
You had a good hand, but mine is better. I like that.
Well,
That's good.
Samir threatening Jacob, and anytime we hear that as a pro, they're showing strength or making threats, we actually take that as weakness and exploit it even the more.
Great story about Jacob. He's just 22 years old, got into this event on a qualifier, $260. And when we asked him about his lifetime earnings, he told us 0. So this guy...
I'm surprised, actually.
Yeah, he's a great player. Great player. Action over to Mike. He's going to raise it up to $125,000 with his King 4 of spades.
Matter of fact, if I was working with Jacob, the only thing I'd be working on is his posture.
Fold it around here to Mike. The K9 looks down at 10-7 on the button. He's going to take advantage.
Another double gap suited.
And he's going to go all in here on the button with his 10-7.
This time he pulls the trigger. I like it. We said risk, reward. Let's see if he gets the reward for this.
Mark and Samir both folding. Now over to Mike C, who's just got a raggy King 4 here. Little does he know, though, he's actually ahead right now.
Yep. Look at risk reward, baby. Way to go. K9 picking up the blinds and antes on the short stack, an important play.
We had a chance to talk to Mike Seitz, a.k.a. K9, earlier today.
Mike Seitz, Broadway, Virginia, wholesaler. My nickname's K9 because years ago playing softball, I'd get really wild and start barking and carrying on, and I got a really ferocious bark, and once I do that, you know, the other team just kind of gets shook up.
We'll be right back with more HPT right after this. We are back in Indiana at the fabulous Belterra Casino Resort with more of the Heartland Poker Tour.
Look, if you're sitting at home saying, I could compete here, you can find an HPT event coming near you on www.hptpoker.com.
Come on out and see us. There are satellite tournaments and direct buy-ins, and you could find yourself on national television playing for tens of thousands of dollars,
Now,
just like Gary.
Right here, yeah, absolutely. And Gary moving all in on the short stack.
Gary's got ace-4. Now we move over to K9. He's going to fold his ace-deuce. We saw him heard him bark earlier before the commercial break.
He's got bark. Does he have bite? That's what we're here to find out.
Folded around now to Jacob in the 1 seat. Looks down at 6-5. He's going to get out of the way.
It's going to get through for Gary. Picks up a very important pot in the antes when you're on the short stack.
Gary's 64 years old, a retired dentist, and now he's an assistant high school basketball coach. And by the way, it's his wife's birthday today.
Happy birthday.
Probably use some of that cash to take her out for a nice steak dinner tonight. Congratulations to Gary's wife.
Or a slice of cake.
That could be, yeah. Could be, maybe both.
Maybe he'll have a title and eat his cake too.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. That's what's on the line tonight. The HPT title, the bracelet, the bragging rights. And look at this. Gary's all in with his ace-10 again.
All of a sudden, Gary opening his game up. And this is standard. You know, when you have an ace 7-handed here and you're on the short stack, you want to get it all in, force your opponents to a decision. And because he has that tight image, I expect it to get through here once again.
Fold it around. Finally, some aggression here at this final table. I mean, let's be honest, Ken. We've seen some... What kind of word do you want to use for the poker we've seen? I don't want to call it a snooze fest because these guys were playing for a lot of money here, but we haven't seen a whole lot of action up until now.
You know, some of that is related to the cards that are being dealt, and some to the players for sure.
Here he's going to fold, not going to do 3 in a row. Over to K9, now looks at 5 deuce. You're right, we haven't seen a whole lot of action cards. Like last week, we saw aces and kings and queens and jacks.
Yeah, every hand.
This week, we see 8 tray and 5 deuce.
Yeah, so, you never know what the deck is going to deal, but it's how you play the hands that you're dealt that really makes an HBT champion. Now here, Jacob opening up things. I like it. Jack 9 opens for a raise in back position.
Frank's going to make the call.
Look at this. Soon as it's almost like they hear us. Soon as we say, hey, guys, open it up, start playing, they do.
Mike C now in the big, defending.
Look
He's got 10-4. Yeah, I think the players are starting to realize let's shake things up a little bit here. We've got to crown a champion tonight. It's got to happen.
Who's going to go after it?
Exactly. 3 players going to the flop. And that flop is Queen, 9-5, couple of hearts.
Look. Mike flopping the flush draw here.
Frank's going to check. Mike's going to check. Jacob paired his 9.
He's got second pair here and position. I'd expect him to bet. Well, now he's turned 2 pair. For sure he's going to bet here now. Well, actually he's being led into.
Turn card, Jack of diamonds. Frank's going to bet $210,000.
And this is a good play by Frank because he has absolutely nothing. So he might as well take advantage of the weakness he sees from the other players and try and pick up the pot. But it's not going to get through here as Mike still has his flush draw. Jacob now with 2 pair. I expect him to raise. He should raise. I'd raise here.
And he's going to do just that. He's going to raise all in. That'll quickly get Frank out of this hand.
Right. Tough spot for Mike here. It's really a chip position decision. Meaning if this is more than 30-40% of his stack, which it looks to be, I expect him to fold, and he does.
He's going to do that. And if my calculations are right, Jacob just won the biggest pot of the night. Over 2 million chips in that pot.
Wow.
Talked about this earlier. Jacob, just 22 years old. He's from Kentucky. He's a poker dealer. His plans for the cash, he wants to pay for some college classes. You should have been that smart on your first cash. It's still not too late for you to get some education in there, Ken and James.
Well, my education came at the table, you know. And here's Mike now. He's found a premium hand with ace-queen. The best education comes through life and experience, my friend.
Mike is 41 years old, just $7,000 in lifetime earnings. He's going to raise it up to $135,000. Mark's kind of got that mad scientist look to him when he's looking down at his cards, very deliberate. He woke up with the Sammy Hagar. For you millennials out there, he was a rock and roll singer that had a song, I Can't Drive 55, and he's going to fold. He's going to fold his fives.
Wow.
And now Samir, it turns out to be a great fold, as Samir wakes up with pocket jacks. I'm a little surprised. I'm a lot surprised.
Well, Mark biding his time, letting the other players fight it out and try and move up the pay ladder.
Samir's going to re-raise to $315,000.
I like this play by Samir. Defining his hand, taking the lead in the hand. Now, Mike, semi-short stack here. I expect him to move all in here and take a stand. That's what I would do.
And Mike is just going to make the call, so we'll go heads up to the flop. Samir in the lead with his pocket jacks going up against K9's ace-queen. And again, we saw Mark folding his pocket fives. The flop is 10 tray deuce.
And this is the problem when you're Mike. Oh, he moves all in on a stop and go. This is called a stop and go. You just call pre-flop knowing that you're going to move it all in on any flop, trying to get a better hand like ace-king to fold. To the turn we go.
Turn card is the 6 of spades.
Wow.
So Mike's drawn thin here, needs to pick up either an ace or a queen, or he's going to be eliminated.
14% chance as we go to the river. Will Mike stay in the tournament?
It's the 9 of spades, and that is going to do it. Samir is going to extend his chip lead and sends K9 to the rail. Mike Seitz is out in 7th place, taking home $11,651. We're down to 6 here on the HPT. Come right back for more poker action.
Welcome back to the HPT here at the Belterra Casino Resort in Florence, Indiana. Kenna, what an unusual night of poker.
Yeah, well, a little timid play with so many short stacks at the table, but now that we're down to 6-handed, I really expect it to heat up.
And Samir with a huge chip lead. He's got over 4.5 million chips.
And Gary Bretslauer on the other end, he's really nursed his short stack. Infinite patience may have paid off, well, at least for a 6th-place finish for him.
Taking a look at that prize money up top, $83,732. Every player guaranteed just over $14,000 right now. Thanks so much for joining us here on the HPT, broadcasting from the Belterra Casino Resort. What I like most about this place, in your hotel room, you can see the states Indiana, Kentucky, and Ohio all at one time. I did it earlier this morning before the broadcast. It's fantastic. Love the hotel. I love being here.
Listen to you.
I'm not even sure where I am right now.
Overlooking 4 states. You sound like Washington crossing the Delaware.
Folding around to Jacob. This would be a huge score for him if he won this thing. It's already a huge score. The $14,000 that he's guaranteed. Using that money for school, he's going to raise it up to $130,000 with ace-4. Frank's coming in now with his 5-4. He's going to make the call in the big blind, so blind on blind.
Yeah, now this is an interesting hand because Jacob has him dominated in the hand value.
Flop is 10-6 tray, couple of spades.
But Frank has position, so this is going to be interesting in how this plays out.
Jacob checks. Frank flops an open-ended straight draw. He's going to bet $100,000. And Jacob is going to quickly fold his hand. So Frank's going to win the hand.
Jacob carefully, cautiously, maintaining his chip position, not giving anything away. I like it.
Action on Gary with an 8 deuce. He's going to fold. Now over to Mark. Mark with 10-9 of hearts.
This is time for Mark to open up his game now, leverage his image a little bit, leverage his chip stack, put his opponents to a decision.
I'm not sure he's got that gear, though, in his game. We'll find out. Now's the time to do it. He's going to fold that. He's going to fold that, as does Samir.
He thought about it and then found the muck once again.
Jacob folds his button. Now Frank's going to raise it up in the small blind with his ace-6. Now over to Mike Comiso. Looks down at Queen-Jack. Kenna, do you like this hand in the big blind?
I do in this spot because you're in position, heads up. The question is he going to call or raise here? 3-betted, as we call it. Those gray chips, $5,000 apiece.
Yeah, it looks like he's just going to make the call.
And I like this. When you have a marginal hand and you're in position, you want to lengthen the hand, see as many streets as possible.
As we go to the flop, heads up, and the flop is A7 tray, couple of clubs.
Yeah, it's not going to work out for him this time as Frank has flopped top pair, and he checks.
And Mike's going to check back.
Good discipline here by Mike.
Go to the turn card. Now it's the 6 of spades.
Now Frank is going to look for value, but he's not going to find it.
Frank with 2 pair now is going to bet 215,000, and it's going to be too much. And Frank's going to show his hand. He's proud. He's got 2 pair. He wants to show everybody.
Well, you know, he wants to gain some respectability from his opponent. That's why he's showing him there, so later he can maybe pick it up with a bluff.
We are broadcasting from the Belterra Casino Resort. It's the largest casino hotel in the state of Indiana. Want to thank the entire staff. 383 entries.
Action on
Fantastic
Mark.
week of poker. Here we go. King, Queen.
If he doesn't raise with this, I'm going to scream, man.
King, Queen, suited up in hearts.
I mean, a lot of this tournament might just come down to who wants it bad enough. You know, who wants it the most.
And Mark is going to raise. Going to raise to 150,000 just
buddy.
for you, poker coach.
Sometimes you got to put the foot on the gas just a little bit.
And now look at this. Jacob in the one seat wakes up with pocket aces.
And this is what happens, though. When you wait too long, sometimes you get penalized as Jacob wakes up with the rockets.
And now he's going to re-raise to 400,000 as his 3-bet. Now action back to Mark. He can't like this at all. He rarely likes to enter a hand in the first place. Now he's raised and got re-raised. And he's going to fold his hand. No surprise there.
Actually, it turns out to be a great play.
I mean, give me your grade on Mark here. He's playing super tight, but is he playing good poker? I mean, give him a grade for me.
A-. I mean, A because, you know, he's actually making the right folds. If you're watching this at home, it looks really tight. You know, he's folding 5s. Here he folded king, queen of hearts. The minus part, and he's right, by the way, the minus part is you don't know what your opponent holds. And when you're making that tight a fold, sometimes you're losing value when you're in these marginal situations and you're ahead.
Frank's going to make the call. Mike gets out of the way, and now Gary on the button with king 4 is going to go all in. I think Gary's late for the birthday party. His wife's birthday is tonight, so he wants to get going. Now Mark looks down at A7. That's not going to be good enough. Mark folds over to Samir, looks down at 4 deuce. That will quickly go into the muck. Now action over to the 1 seat. Or rather, over to Frank now. Back to Frank. He's going to make the call. And they're going to flip over the cards.
Yeah, Gary disgusted here because he's not really getting anything to play. He's on an extreme short stack, trying to make something happen. He's going to need something to happen as we go to the flop.
And the flop is 2 10s and a queen.
No help for Gary.
No help for Gary.
Let's do the turn card.
Gary's tournament life on the line. Turn card now is the 9 of clubs.
Down to the river. Wow.
Pot of 830,000. The river card is the 5 of diamonds, and that will do it for our retired dentist, Gary Bretslauer. He will leave us in 6th place and will take home just over $14,000. And as Mike stacks his chips, Tatiana is tableside with Gary.
Gary, our 6th place finisher, how are you feeling?
It was a long morning, but I was card dead most of the day. Just had to make a move and just didn't have anything to work with.
Darn it.
Yeah, that's how it goes. That's how cards go. But I'm very satisfied with 6th place, and it was a lot of fun. Enjoyed it.
Was this your first televised final table?
Yes, it was.
Tell me about that experience.
Nice guys. I enjoyed the players. Everybody was very cordial, and it was just an enjoyable event. I wish I had better cards, and I wish I could have moved up a little further.
But this means that we will see you back at the HPT.
I hope so.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much. Congratulations one more time.
Thank you very much.
The HPT is in Indiana this week at the Belterra Casino Resort, where 383 entries were in our main event, and just 5 are still standing, Kenna James.
Nearly 20,000 for 5th place. By the way, you can buy 40,000 donuts for $20,000. That's going to last you 109 years.
Wow.
Without inflation and the cost of your heart
All
surgery.
right, we've got to move on. This is all right. Anyway, Kenna James, James Larson with you.
Mark's got Kenna James King
He's
Jack
got the
suited
King
here.
Jack, and he's going to do something with it. He's going to raise it up to 185,000. Samir is going to get out of the way. Over to Jacob. Now he's got Ace Queen.
Maybe a 3-bet here? 5-handed poker?
I like a 3-bet here. And remember, he 3-bet Mark earlier, so Mark might be thinking he's picking on him and then take a stand here instead of folding once again. Let's see.
Re-raises to 425,000.
Wow.
Look at this. Frankie
Oh,
wakes up with
man.
Big Slick, and he's all in. A 4-bet shove. Well, Mark's
Yeah, now it's
gotta
an
hit-
easy. Yeah,
he's
it's an
got to
easy
hit
fold
the
for him.
highway
Yeah,
here.
Yeah.
He's going to continue to keep playing his A- poker, according to poker coach Ken and James. Now, Jacob has a decision to make here.
Not really. I think Frank has made a shutout bet here. Too big for Jacob to call.
Frank is 39 years old, works in loss prevention, $73,000 in total career earnings. Yeah, he
Loss
works-
prevention. If
Right.
you're a poker player, that's a good thing.
Frank just one bullet into this event. It was an $1,100 event that we did this week in Belterra. So glad you're with us tonight, right here on the HPT. Action over to Mark. Looks down at Jack 7. He's going to fold. Now over to our chip leader, Samir. Samir's led this thing wire to wire. We'll see if he can close it out. Looks down at Ace-6 of clubs.
You know, a poker tip for you people at home. We talk about loss prevention. 2 ways to play, trying not to lose or playing to win. And we're seeing that play out here tonight.
Samir raises to 170,000. Jacob gets out of the way. Frank's going to make the call in the small blind. Now over to Mike in the big blind with Queen Jack. Again, not a terrible hand here in the big blind, but it's coming off a raise to 170,000, but Mike's going to make the call and defend.
Well, Mike now getting pot odds that Frank has come in, and both blinds defending against the late position raiser. Let's see if they get help on the flop.
And the flop is King 5-4, couple of spades.
And a pair is the average hand 3-handed on a board like this.
All 3 players checking. We go to the turn card now. Turn card, another spade, this time the 10 of spades.
Nobody having a lot of anything. Gut shot straight for Mike.
Check, check, check. River card now, the deuce of hearts. Not much happening here.
No, Frank is actually going to win this pot with his pair.
7-4. That's the nuts, my friend. 7-4 suited. Come on.
Gets rewarded for stepping out. Maybe he's going to go for the win instead of trying not to lose. Important distinction there for you people at home looking to step up your poker game.
Speaking of folks at home, if you want to join us here on the HPT, why not give it a shot? You can play for the Unreal Cash. Check out the webpage, www.hptpoker.com. James Larson alongside Ken and James here at the Belterra Casino Resort.
Absolutely. Comes a lot more real when you buy those 40,000 donuts.
Look at this. Mike now all in on the button with pocket 4s. See if Mark can wake up with a hand here.
Now it's 16-1 to be dealt a pair. So when you're 6-handed here, actually we're 5-handed now, and you're dealt a pair, you know it's probably the best hand, and you're medium to short stack, you want to get it all in.
Mark's going to fold. Action over to Samir. He's got King 9. In the big blind. Doesn't know it, but he's got 2 overs to the pocket 4s of Mike.
And he's basically looking at his top card, a king here, and wondering, is a king good here?
Sure.
He's going to shove with almost any 2, and he makes the call.
He's going to make the call here, try to eliminate a player and get us down to our final 4. I don't know if Mike likes this or not. He's up against a king and a 9.
That's a great question, actually, James. You want to double up, but you're at risk for your tournament life.
The flop is 10-7 tray. So far, so good for Mikey C.
Ooh, he's got to sweat 2 more cards.
He's got to feel a little better now after the flop. 2 more cards to go. Everybody's smiling. Samir not smiling so much. Turn card is the Jack of clubs, so
He's just got to fade the river, baby. Come on, 1 more card.
his second final table in a row. See if he can keep the magic going. A pot of almost 1 million chips. We go to the river card.
You'll fade him.
His fans, you'll fade him. You'll fade him. Will he fade the king or the 9 to the river?
And it's the 9 of clubs. Unbelievable. Samir pairs his 9s and eliminates Mike in 5th place, and that's good for over $18,000. It's his second final table in a row and his second nice payday. He's down with Tatiana on the floor.
I heard that people were card dead. Every single person I interviewed so far said they were card dead. Was that your problem?
Yeah, it's pretty card. I got ace king 1 time, jacks 1 time, but you couldn't get any action. So, yeah.
How was the final table?
It was fun. It's a lot of fun. A lot of good guys. A lot of cool dudes in there. So, I'm happy for all of them.
If you could pick one to win right now, who do you think it's going to be?
Oh, jeez. I'll go Samir. He's cool. I like Samir.
Awesome. You are friends with Rob, and you guys are driving to Atlantic City tonight?
We're on to Atlantic City. Yeah, we started on the West Coast, making our way east.
And then you're going to make your way back to the HPT?
Oh, of course. How can I miss? I got to go for 3 in a row.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much, and I'll see you next time.
Thank you very much.
All right, Kenna, 4 players remain here at the Belterra Casino Resort.
Yeah, and Samir's still with the chip lead, but the other 3 players have chipped up. He's got them to contend with.
Now with 4 players remaining, how do you handicap the field?
You know, Samir, he's got great balanced approach. And, you know, Frank is in there. Mark, the Rock of Gibraltar, going to be tough to move him. But I think Jacob just might be our sleeper.
Make sure to join us next week for the conclusion here on the HPT and find out who our new champion will be. That person will go home with almost $84,000. If you think you have what it takes to play right here on the national stage, why not give it a shot? Log on to our website at hptpoker.com. Who knows, maybe you'll be playing for the unreal cash. For Kenna James, I'm James Larson, and we'll see you next time on the HPT.